Hello and welcome to the North America Gaelic Football Podcast, the home of Gaelic football here in North America. I'm your host, Gareth McAlinden, along with our co-host, Limerick's finest, Connor Green. Before we get started, just a quick shout out to our sponsors, Masita, who have been the sponsors of the USGAA since 2017. So if you're your club or interested in getting involved with Masita this year for your team's needs, feel free to reach out to us and we will get you connected with Des and the team. Without further ado, we'd like to welcome Cristin Taylor. Cristin, how are you? How's it going? What's the crack?
Hey guys, doing well. How about you?
Can't complain.
Good, no. Can't complain.
No
Height of GAA season, so, you know.
Now, what got you into Gaelic football? Because you've got an interesting story, right?
Yeah, my athletic background, I would say, is kind of all over the place, but Gaelic football started, unfortunately, not in my youth years, but kind of as I started to pull away from college athletics. I was like lost trying to find something to do athletically. So it kind of fell into place right in the perfect timing there. But I reached out to a club that I found on Facebook back in the day. And they basically just suggested I come to a training. Nobody knew if I had ever done the sport before or if I had no idea what it was. They just told me to show up. And I showed up to the training and they just kind of like threw me in there and I just kind of had to figure it out. So it was, it was kind of a good challenge for me, which was something that flows well with the rest of my athletic career as well. Is always a good challenge for sure.
What sports did you play in college, Cristin?
So up until college, my main focus was track and field. I was committed to run in college, and then due to an injury, it kind of took me out from the prospects of that for at least that year. So when I transitioned out of that school, I was kind of stuck with like, okay, I've been an athlete my whole life, and now I'm like kind of lost without something. So that was where I kind of picked up the Gaelic football.
Itching for some kind of sport.
Yeah, needed something a little bit different than the college intramural. I tried college intramural soccer and it was just kind of, I needed a little bit more. So Gaelic football worked out perfectly.
Yeah, I always say like Gaelic football offers a good like midpoint between almost soccer and like rugby, you know, like it's, you're not going to kill yourself playing it by any means, but you know, it's got the bit more physicality than say something like soccer, you know. I know I can't play soccer anyway. I've gotten way too many red cards down at the indoor league with Gareth and the boys there. So, can you talk a bit about your club, the Miltown Gaels? When were they formed, and like how many teams and members and all that, and what codes do they play in?
Yeah, so Miltown Gaels are located in Milwaukee. I'm from Chicago, so I'm one of the very few, if not just a couple of us who make the trip up to Milwaukee for trainings and to join in for matches. But they're a fairly newer team. 2016, I think, is when they were formed. I only just joined just a few years ago as I moved and had to transfer out of division. So I've only been with them a couple years, but they're registered as a junior grade, and they've got men's and ladies, and they're a great team. So I don't think I can get out of the division. Even if I do move, I think I just need to stick with them. Yeah, they've become like a little family up in Milwaukee for me. So it's been great.
Nice. Yeah.
How much of the Gaelic football was like the actual sport versus like the actual community aspect of it? Because I think that's an interesting one, because I think Gaelic football, as much as a sport, is, in my opinion, phenomenal. But that community aspect, I feel people are itching for as well. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I know you've thrown the phrase around so many times in all the podcast episodes of 70% crack and then the rest is just Gaelic football. But Yeah, no, I would say it's fairly true. We do have a good focus on the sport itself and the development, and our coach Billy takes training seriously, but his big thing is making sure that we're having fun and that we're part of something that's more than just showing up just to run and get tired out. So yeah, we've got a good promotion of fun for sure within the club, and I think that's why it's so strong and vibrant.
Yeah, that's it. Like, it's all about just getting people to come back, isn't it? If you can make people friendly with each other, you have a much better chance of them sticking it out. Like, I think Gaelic football is a little easier than hurling. Like, hurling, it just requires Gareth described it as tedious. Like, it requires that there's that period where you really suck, like, isn't there? And it's just all about staying with it, like, but no, football is definitely a bit easier to transition to, and for American kids, I would say probably some of the skills like from basketball and soccer just seem to transfer a little easier, definitely.
Yeah.
It's almost demoralizing when you're literally that one person that's showing up new to training and everybody's down, like flicking the ball up and like just that little simple ball, and you're throwing the ball up and missing it every time. It takes a while to get those like soft skills, motor skills. But once you get it, you're flying.
Yeah.
But I think Gaelic football is a great introduction to both sports, because you think it's pretty much the same game on the same field with the same positioning.
Right.
So if you can pick one of them up, the other one will come a little bit more naturally. And it does take time. We tell we tell people all the time, just keep coming. Yeah. And
I definitely even think even for like experienced hurlers, like, you can definitely gain something from playing a bit of football, like, like the whole possession passing aspect of it. Like, there's definitely things you can pick up that can transfer easily, from Gaelic football, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I started playing Gaelic football before hurling. So it obviously there's not as much of a overlap with hurling with a lot of other American sports, unless you've kind of consider yourself a well-rounded athlete, which I think is like the reason why I fell in love with hurling, is that I just kind of grew up playing every sport there could be. And so that the well-roundedness, I think, was well equipped me for picking up hurling. But definitely a change from Gaelic football, but similar skills, so it crosses over well.
Yeah, definitely. No, I definitely think it's very different to most American sports. I mean, lacrosse is pretty similar, but I definitely would say I think talking to some like past lacrosse players who play on our club, like they love the whole ball in hand, dynamic of it.
Yeah.
You say you guys have training now. How does your training usually work? Do you guys all do it together, or do you guys split up in the different, like the men's teams go one side, the ladies teams, or do you guys just all go in on one?
Yeah, so for football, we do have co-ed trainings for Miltown, which is great. The guys, who show up are really helpful with trying to get us prepped for if we've, a ladies match or something that weekend. They're in the goals, they're playing defense, they're helping us out. But then, they're just in there as well, training themselves. So we'll train together a handful of times, but then Billy is really good about kind of keeping men's specific and women's specific trainings as well, just to get as many people who are meant to play together out there playing together on the pitch, and just work on that relation and field chemistry and all of that kind of stuff.
I think a good person then to ask for advice, almost in a way. So we actually just recently started a ladies football team. Our first practice was last week. What do you think is, in your opinion, what would somebody's best way if they wanted to start a ladies team? Like, where do you go find players? What's going to attract the girls and ladies to Gaelic football or hurling? Where's that first step?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge that I think every club in the GAA can attest to. It's tough to start something from the ground up, but community is a big thing. Recruiting, obviously, easier said than done, but I know a lot of women, just from experience. We've started up a club in the Naperville area called the Emeralds, fairly new club within the last year. There's not a ton of established players, but good amount of numbers attending training. And you can kind of see it's difficult to keep numbers and, keep it consistent. But women like to be around other women. And I know for my experience with hurling, I play on a men's team and I'm the only woman pretty much out there. Especially when it comes to matches, I'm the only woman on the entire pitch or the entire tournament. But it's intimidating for women to be a part of a really aggressive sport like that with just a field full of men. So I think just women knowing that they have a community of other women who want to, play and be competitive, I think is the selling point for them. So like with our club in Naperville, it was just women coming together from an established team already and just kind of building their own community and team there. And it's great. The rest of the area within the Midwest is really good about including them in tournaments and getting them involved in other playing opportunities. So it's great to see.
No, I think it's a good idea to mix up I think to do the mix of you have some of your training sessions with the men and then some, just the ladies. You definitely you can pick. I'm sure you can pick up things from some of the men, and then but then like you're saying, to have that bit of field chemistry and getting used to playing together, knowing what having an idea of what somebody's going to do, definitely helps build a team there.
Yeah, exactly.
We had our first training there on Tuesday, and one thing that I loved about having the ladies there, we had some of the newer American guys that were actually almost taking leadership roles and showing them how to do. And for me, that's great to see. Like myself and Connor started the Worcester Fenians football team. They were primarily hurling, and to see these guys now, who just started like a year and a half, 2 years ago, are now almost stepping up as coaches and leaders. So, I guess that's another selling point, right? Where, these people are now, they're a year in a new sport, but they pick it up so quick. And they love it, and they love the community aspect, and they love to go in and help coach and help grow it, be part of something from the ground up. So, for myself, I think it's vitally important for having a girls team. I think it only does wonders for the club and for the community aspect. And I see, other clubs around the country like Charlotte. I don't know if you follow them on social media, but I always seem to be mesmerized when I see them on social media. They're traveling in such numbers with men, the women, the kids. So, it's a testament to these clubs, and it's something that we aspire to, and hope that we can get to there sometime. And, with you guys as well, seeing the numbers of ladies out there, it's phenomenal to see. Now, how many Irish-born ladies do you have on your team?
So we're kind of I would say more unique team where we don't have loads of Irish on the team. I'd say we just have a handful. I don't want to speak incorrectly, but I think like we've just a good handful of them. And some move or some go back home. So it's not the consistent home base all the time, but we've just a few. So our team is really a good majority of just American born players, which is really cool to see take on the sport well. We've got a lot of background of different athletes, college soccer and volleyball and stuff like that. So it's cool to kind of see the athletic backgrounds come together and see how we can utilize everybody's strengths on the field. It's really cool.
Yeah, that volleyball, you see that volleyball aspect of Gaelic football coming in more and more. And I always see it on TV, they run the ball in, hand pass it up, and there's somebody just there to slap the ball in, directly from the pass. Like, it's cool. But yeah, it's always interesting with the American kids. Just, you can see like hurling and football, you can see like the hockey guys, the lacrosse guys, like, you can almost tell, but it's always interesting to find out. So what would you say are some of the biggest challenges for your club, both on and off the field?
Securing the the North American title, I would say, is one of ours at the minute. We're extremely close each year, and I think hopefully this year is the end to all of that nonsense. But I think at the minute we're working on, taking the whole thing. We've been so close, and so I think just kind of checking that off the list will be our next big goal. But our numbers have stayed really consistent, which is great, and we've seen a lot of turnover from previous years. So I think one of our biggest strengths, in my opinion, is going to be our team chemistry. I think we play really well together. We know each other on and off the pitch, so it's a good bond that we have that I think plays well once we get out onto the pitch. I have teammates who I've played with for years, and they know where to put the ball in front of me when I'm on the go to receive a hand pass, and you don't have to turn and look at each other and try to figure it out. It's just kind of turns into like a natural instinct. So it's kind of cool to see that out on the pitch.
I find it great that you're using the term pitch. You don't hear many American players calling it a pitch, so glad you become accustomed to that.
Yeah.
And you might need that in Derry when you go there in a couple of weeks, which we'll touch base on a little bit. But you also talked about there your biggest challenge is the securing that North America. Now, you were telling me a little bit before we started recording that you went to the emergency room. Was that on the final?
Yeah, so I was dual coded in Chicago. We were in the absolute worst rain conditions I've ever been in playing a camogie match in my life. So it was miserable to start. Great time, but just the weather could have been more cooperative. But
was on the Saturday, I take it, in Chicago?
Yeah, it would have been Saturday.
Oh yeah. And we got that thunder and lightning there too. I remember like we were in the middle of a game and we got really cool fork lightning there.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, go on.
Oh, no, that's okay. So we were playing our match, and I ended up getting into a little thing with a girl who was marking me, and I got a hurl to the shin pretty hard, and it split the top of my leg open. And I think that the adrenaline was pumping, and we wanted to win that match. So I luckily just got off the pitch, back on the pitch again, just wrapped it up a little bit and continued to play. I went to the physio to get it looked at real quick before, right in between our football final then. So I just wrapped up camogie and was heading to our final for football. And they were like, yeah, you probably should go get stitches. And I was like, right, okay, yeah, I'll do that in about an hour and a half because I have to go play football. And so I just wrapped it up, went over to the football pitch and played the whole match, and then went to urgent care right after. Ended up having a stress fracture in my tibia too. So that was quite the surprise.
Yeah, it's no easy task at the nationals being a dual player. I'll say that. It's hard enough even just with one sport. If you end up playing 3 games or 4 games even over the weekend.
Myself and Connor, we had a game. We had a hurling game on the Friday, a football game on the Friday, football game on the Saturday, and then a final on the Sunday. So, but that Saturday I think was the worst because it was heavy, the fields were just they were soggy, they were heavy, they were
Your
wet.
Were heavy. It was.
Oh my God! My body on Sunday, I'm not in bad shape, but I'm not in good shape. By the 4th day, I was I was gone.
Yeah.
And, you could tell, you could see just the fatigue in the last game, where the passes were getting sloppy. But the moral of that story, I was hoping you were going to say that, you came off because you got a bad cut and that's why you lost. But I guess we didn't get that.
I was leaving it open for your interpretation.
Yeah,
it was the injury that lasted for him anyway. That was for sure.
Sure, it was definitely that. Yeah.
But it's funny when you're at the nationals and you get a day like that. You could be playing some West Coast team. Like they might not have seen the rain there in like the last like 3 seasons, so you'd be hoping just to get a bit of luck. Might, we get a bit more rain than usual up in the Northeast, so we'd be hoping to use that for our advantage however we can.
Yeah.
Well, we also, a lot of them teams also use AstroTurf,
Yeah.
like the 3G fields. So for them going back and playing grass, like wet grass, I mean, that's definitely an adjustment to the body. So I'm sure it played some kind of a part, especially on that Saturday. But yeah, we had no excuses. Northeast teams had no excuse. We're spoiled up here with really good fields. So, but one thing we wanted to touch base on, which I think is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever met somebody in the GAA who's also a Ninja Warrior. For anybody back in Ireland, they probably know the American Ninja Warrior, but we have one of them right here. How did that all come around?
Yeah, all my friends and family joke that, like, can you just pick a normal sport? Like, just play soccer or, like, anything that people don't have to ask 100 questions about. But I don't know, I guess I tend to, like, lean into the sports that give me a little bit more challenge, and Ninja Warrior is definitely one of those sports. But yeah, I kind of, like I said before, I kind of grew up playing, like, every sport. I was a really big tomboy, so sports were kind of like my thing. Was playing football with the boys at recess instead of like whatever the girls were doing, and so that kind of like carried me through my athletics. It made me kind of always enjoy that extra push and the extra competitiveness. But yeah, I for some reason had upper body strength like from day one, and people wrote it off as, oh, she's a gymnast. And I was always wondering like why people have said that my whole life, but I never did a day of gymnastics in my life. Just had like random upper body strength. But yeah, found out I could do like a lot of pull-ups and had records at like all of my schools growing up. And then it wasn't until high school that I took a class that incorporated rock climbing and rappelling and like a lot of obstacle and, different challenge type things. And I like fell in love with it. And from then on, I kind of realized like, I think I'm pretty decent at some of this upper body strength stuff, but I don't really know what to do with it. Other than like set a pull-up record or have the Marines be like really interested in trying to recruit me. And it was kind of like I didn't really want any of those options. But I watched Ninja Warrior one day and kind of thought to myself, like, I'd love to try that someday. So Googled indoor obstacles or something like that. I was really into like the mud run races with the obstacles, but I wanted all of that minus the mud. And so Ninja Warrior kind of fell into place there and just took off with it after that.
Which has also led into your professional life as well, right? Because now you're actually running a Ninja Warrior gym, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a general manager of a Ninja Warrior facility, which kind of started from my passion for ninja. And so now I'm, working and running a facility, coaching kids, was able to, train at a great, really amazing facility that, helped prepare me to compete on the show. And, I was a course tester on American Ninja Warrior for previous years and then finally got my chance to run the real deal. So it was, cool experience, but, ninja is still a big part of my life and, kind of fun to use the skills and have just the upper body strength helps with hurling for sure. So,
yeah. And is that like a franchise? I've never heard of it. That's pretty cool.
So yeah,
the Ninja Warrior gyms.
Yeah, so we're in the process of franchising at the minute, but we've a couple in the Midwest area. Mostly are located in Illinois, but we're starting to branch out to other locations as well. But yeah, it's cool to see that sport grow as well. I'm always rooting for the small niche sports to make their way into the world and have people know about them, just like hurling and Gaelic football. So
Yeah, we might have to hit you up there for one in Worcester, Massachusetts. It sounds like fun. I think I'd be up for investing some money in that just to use it, to be honest.
I'll put your name. I'll put a good word in.
Do yeah.
But I'm thinking more for like preseason, off-season training. Like, what would you say? Or sorry, would you agree that a lot of the exercises that you do in that can be incorporated into both Gaelic football and hurling?
So it's yeah, for sure, yes, and then also no. There's so many random like skill sets that are only good in certain circumstances, like if you're doing a specific obstacle. But when you think about the whole like encompassing strength that you have to have, core strength is a really big part of Ninja Warrior. Like you need to have a strong core. You need to have the type of endurance that you don't get from just like running straight through. It's that muscle endurance of holding your own body weight and moving through obstacles. So it definitely prepares you for the endurance side of it and kind of pushing through that fatigue, which is, I think, the most transitioning skill that has helped me in both hurling and Gaelic football. But yeah, it's same thing with Ninja Warrior. You've got to be like an all-around athlete. You need to have the agility, the speed, the strength, the endurance. You have to have it all. So definitely, definitely using it in the GAA for sure.
It definitely promotes like lean strength, I would say. Which it's the way to be for GA, I would say. I mean, you see some big, huge fellas in hurling football, that are able to carry themselves well, but like not everyone is able to carry themselves well. Some people just end up slowing down when they get that big, So
yeah, that's kind of a running joke.
I would say the two training for the two could work out very well.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there could be a viral video of and I don't know if this is a rule, but maybe they should look into this before these World Games. But there might be a video of this American coming in and climbing on top of the goalposts, stopping points from going over the bar.
Yeah.
Pull up
way up above. They might have to make a new rule.
Yeah, someone get the ref distracted, and I'm the one for the job, I think.
It's funny sometimes with the Americans. I find like they're always almost trying to like test the rules, like see if there's a loophole, like maybe there's a rule where you can't actually climb up on top of the crossbar and block a ball with your hurley, but
yeah,
well, who knows, maybe there isn't.
I could be the one to find out if you want. I can report back.
Yeah, it's worth a try, I think. Yeah,
I think it's worth free anyway.
It's like Bill Belichick, if you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, if you can do a one-arm muscle up, with a hurl up there and just flick it out, that'd be very impressive. Yeah. I'll be looking out for that video.
Now you're putting that into my head, so we might be seeing that soon.
Now, with that being said, got a big tournament coming up, right?
We do, yeah. We're getting in the last final stages of preparation for the GAA World Games in Derry this summer. So I shouldn't even say the summer; it's next month. But yeah, right around the corner here. So we're looking forward to it.
And are you going out there with the football and the camogie team, or is it just football? Or
yeah, so I'm going with my Gaelic football team, which is Miltown Gaels, but it's also other people from the Heartland division. It's kind of like a team that was formed within the Heartland of players who were selected into this USGAA team. But yeah, I'm going for football, and then I think I inadvertently said that I was going to sub for camogie as well. So we'll see how the body feels to be able to do that. But might make my random camogie debut out there as well. So we'll see.
And is that going to be all played off over like a weekend, I take it? Or
I think they actually have it on during the week.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I read something that it was about 450 matches throughout the entire week, out of the women's and men's division for camogie and football. So it's going to be jam-packed throughout the week.
Yeah, I think I read a little bit about it. It's I guess like it's on the Monday is like an official parade, and then all through the week it's going to be like pretty much a week long. So like group games during the week, and then I think the finals are on the Saturday, and then closing ceremony on Sunday, I believe it is.
Yeah, I think Friday, Saturday, but yeah, it's all week long. They have activities planned, opening ceremonies, closing ceremony, finals.
Activities,
yeah,
aka drinking.
There's a lot of drinking planned already, but don't tell my coach.
That's okay. That's all right. You'll be finding them in the bar anyway. They'll be telling you, just get back to the hotel. They're in the bars anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
But I know a few people from Derry, and from the sounds of the people from that area, they're very excited for the games to come. It'll bring a lot of people to the town, which will bring a lot of business. Obviously the hospitality industry, which is much needed after this last couple of years with COVID. But it's great to see them games getting back in there, and people from all over the world. I mean, there's obviously US is going to have a great presence there, as they always do. But do you know any other like countries that are like? Did I see the Saigon Gaels? Are they putting a team in?
Yeah. So there's I think there are officially almost 100 different teams from around the world coming. I think it's 10 different regions from the world too, which is wild that GAA reaches that far. But we've heard rumors of, I guess not rumors, it's confirmed, but we've heard that potentially playing like Cambodia, some Iberian teams. Yeah. So a lot of, I think we'll see Canada at some stage. So a lot of
have they released like a draw or a schedule? Like, do you know who you're playing, or is it have you not found out yet?
So I guess that's where the rumor part comes in. It's what was just kind of word of mouth as of now, but no, I don't think we'll know until we get a little bit closer out to July. But we've we've been getting some insight from our coach and what teams we might be seeing out there, and kind of what skill sets we should be focusing on to bring. And so we're not like we kind of always say we're not a very tall team. So we kind of have to utilize some of our other skills like speed, and we have great, midfielders and defense and forwards who have awesome endurance. So kind of piecing together those type of skills.
Yeah, I've been following along on social media to the Cambodian team. Actually, it's pretty cool. Like, they got a fully Cambodian born team traveling out there. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Didn't they win one of the World Games not long ago, the men's team?
I'm not sure, no, to be honest.
I was it Dubai? One of the games was out in like Dubai Qatar, and I know there's a guy from Ulster, Jerome Quinn. He usually goes out and films them. He'll probably be there for the World Games. But I'm pretty sure I saw some. It was one of them or one of the South African teams that ended up winning the World Games in the men's side. And I was watching clips. They were unbelievable. They're so fast. So fast, and they were like so big. They were just, people were bouncing off them. It was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I would not want to run into a couple of them guys in midfield. But no, that's fantastic. I mean, it's great to see clubs from all over the world, and even Uganda. Uganda are starting like a hurling and football team with the kids, and I think Connor, you shared a couple of things about that as well and talked to them. But it is phenomenal to see, and it's a fantastic sport. It doesn't take, especially with football. If you like soccer, but you like that more physical aspect of it, Gaelic football is that almost like that happy medium between soccer and rugby and maybe like Australian rules. And then hurling on the other side is for, the lads from Limerick, who are out like chopping people. But
what's great about football, I find, is the simplicity of it. Like, just need a ball, pair of cleats. You need less than soccer. Like soccer, you have to have a pair of shin guards. It's less equipment than almost any sport, really.
Yeah, easy enough to pick up.
Maybe a pair of Remember the old yellow gardening gloves on a wet day?
Yeah.
You probably don't see that over here, but back in the days when I was growing up, so like these gloves, like the fancy gloves we have now, we didn't have those. We had like the old, like yellow with the black spot gardening gloves, and they're like cotton. So you can imagine Ireland is pretty wet, with these yellow. And I'm pretty sure, were they in receipt of them gloves?
They might have been actually, yeah. I'm not sure.
It might have been. I'm actually going to confirm that with Des, but yeah, they were. I seen one of our American-born players came out with gloves like that like a couple of weeks ago at a training, and I couldn't help but laugh. It's like, oh yeah, the only thing
between that and like the old school, like the cotton jerseys, like they'd be so heavy when you get a downpour of rain, like
thick collars on and everything.
Yeah, I think everyone has that memory when they're kids. It's like, Jesus. I just became like 10 pounds heavier there since this downpour started.
That's my Limerick jersey. Actually, it's so old that I put it on, and I think I need to work off the weight a little bit. No offense, Connor. Great jersey.
Nothing wrong with the old Limerick jerseys now.
Absolutely not.
We have a fella in our club. He's from Offaly, like, and he loves just showing up he'll show up in like a modern day full Offaly kit sometimes to training, and then other times he'll show up in like the Offaly kit from the 80s, like the full kit, like the old school shorts and everything. Yeah, shout out to Jimmy Egan for that. Legend of a man.
And don't forget that Offaly helmet as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that man is the pride and passion of Offaly.
Green, white, and yellow just runs through his blood, all right, that's for sure.
I'm not one to speak. I'm the one out there with the pink and purple Hurley, and I get looks for that as well. So I'm not one to speak. But look good, play good. So I get it.
Now, what are you most excited about going to Derry now? Are you going to go just for the week, or are you going to spend a little bit more time, like doing a bit of traveling, or what's the plan when you get there?
Yeah, so we're there for at least the week, just as a team, and then a lot of us are extending our trip a little bit to, go visit family or friends. And I'm in the works of seeing if I can move my my flight home to be able to get out to the All Ireland football finals. So that's the plan at the minute, but. Yeah, just really looking forward to being up in Derry with the girls, and I know we're gonna have a lot of fun, and it's gonna be a good week, and getting to play with all the players that we may have seen from North American finals, and then just meet all of the other teams and the community, and I'm just really looking forward to kind of all of it.
Yeah. I've never been to Derry, but I've heard from a bunch of my friends back home that it's a good spot for a night out and all that. Gareth might know more than me.
Yeah,
brilliant spot. Yeah. And did I detect a little bit of a pun in there? Looking forward to being in Derry with the girls.
I do dabble in the puns, and I had to get that one in there for sure.
Now I was browsing through social media and I couldn't help but notice the Derry girls. Do you want to give us a little bit of a background of the Derry girls for anybody that might not know about it?
Yeah, for sure. So so we're like I said, we're the Heartland division of the USGAA. So we're girls made up of predominantly Wisconsin, which is known for cows and cheese and just dairy in general. And I'm from Illinois, but close enough to, say I'm from Wisconsin with the rest of the girls. But we don't know who the brilliant person who came up with the name of Dairy Girls was. But, the play on Dairy Girls and us being from the Midwest, it just seemed to work perfectly. So, we're getting a lot of good feedback from people. They find it really funny that we've called ourselves the Dairy Girls. And I was telling you earlier, our kit is actually going to have incorporated cow print into the jersey and the shorts and our quarter zip and all that kind of stuff. So we're like laughing about it, but we're actually kind of excited. It's gonna turn out cool.
I'll make you a deal. We'll get you out one of those. You talked earlier about the 75% crack, 25% ball.
Yeah.
You get us a Derry Girl shirt. We'll make sure we get one of them shirts out to you.
Deal.
So we'll make that a deal.
Yep, done deal.
Yeah, you got to love a good creative, like funny jersey design. I remember, I'm just thinking of one example. Like there's a rugby club, professional rugby club out in Paris. Stade Francais, they're called. I don't know if you've ever seen those jerseys over the years, Gareth. They often just have these like bizarre, like funny, like they could change their color. They could be wearing pink one day and then yellow another day, you know. But they had this one shirt there years ago. I mean, I doubt it works like for professional rugby players, like, but it was a jersey with just a bunch of random like cartoon characters on the jersey, like, and the idea was that it was going to distract the opposition, like, so. You never know. Maybe some of the girls out there might be getting a laugh off it and just take their eye off the ball there for a second, looking at that cow print.
I think that might work as like a secondhand type of tactic out there. I don't think it was the intent, but I think it could work for sure.
Yeah,
I like it, Connor. I like it. Good inside thinking there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, right? If you're not cheating, you're not winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
We actually just chanted his name at one of our previous matches. We said, Bill Belichick on 3, 1, 2, 3. And our coach is just like looking at us, shaking his head. But,
yeah,
you know, we're out there to have a good time. So
that's the only way to play GA, you know, like some of the boys, especially in the football, they're like trying to ask us like, what's a foul? You know, how do I win the ball without fouling them? I'm just like, just take your best guess. Like, you know, just wing it.
Go and throw you here.
Try your best, geez, you know, see what you can get away with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does the next few weeks hold? So you obviously will have the World Games, but then when you come back from that, do you get right back to your divisional game?
Yeah. So it's they're not too far apart. World Games and the North American Finals, and then we've got tournaments sprinkled in here and there as well. So basically from preseason training till now, currently, I'm like right at the peak of my hard training before I start to kind of like wind down. I kind of have my own like plan set up where I'm attending the trainings I can make up in Milwaukee. I can't get out there, every week, twice a week, but I will make it up there at some stage. But I have my other, hurling training sprinkled in, and then I do a lot of work on my own outside. So kind of incorporating all of that and getting ramped up to just bring a good package to the World Games. And then we come back and maybe we'll get a little week of rest, and then we're back at it again and getting prepped for finals. So it'll be an exciting summer for us.
Well, you go straight into now. You guys don't qualify, right? So whenever you guys go to the USGAA finals, do you have to go through like a qualifier, or do you guys just go straight in on a what level?
So yeah, we're in the junior division. Our team just goes straight through to finals. So luckily we don't have to, battle it out for a spot. Although we did have to do that with the team that I had started playing Gaelic football in a different division. So I've seen both ends of battling it out and getting the glory of winning the Chicago final and then advancing to the North Americans. So yeah, I've seen both sides, and it is definitely a privilege to advance automatically. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, it's funny. Like we often have our, we might have the Boston final maybe like a week before. Usually be like the weekend before. Sometimes it might be 2 weekends before, but usually it's just like 1 week in advance. So you're not even really thinking about the nationals. Usually it's like, and you might win the final. And it's like, sure, we're going to wherever, Chicago.
Yeah.
So
this is
a nice feeling, but it doesn't.
This is actually the
first
first year.
Anxiety there. Yeah.
This is actually the first year that some of the junior clubs, so usually in the Northeast Division, it's literally a week. The finals are the week before nationals. So you don't even know if you're going to nationals until like the week before.
Yeah.
What's nice this year, the division decided to push the finals back 2 weeks to give the junior clubs a little bit more time to coordinate travel and like other things. So I think that's a huge help to some of the junior clubs, because it's crazy because you're booking flights 6 days in advance.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, do I book them now? And it's like, oh, what if we don't get there? But like, if I book them now, I'm going to save like half.
Yeah.
So you're almost taking a gamble. But no, I mean, hopefully you'll not see me there. You may see, hopefully you see Connor there in Denver. Unfortunately, if I go, my wife will probably divorce me, because we have our second kid on the way early August. It's a little boy. But yeah, I'll probably not be in Denver this year if we make it. But maybe I'll catch you at the following one. Do we know when? I think the one after that is in Philadelphia or San Fran.
I thought it was San Fran, but could be mistaken.
Oh, but even better.
I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for San Fran because that's the weather's sounding.
Yeah. Sounds a little more exotic, all right? That's for sure.
Denver sounds exotic, though.
It does, yeah. Yeah, no, Denver is going to be good. Yeah, no, they got some great fields out there. It looks like they're well set up for a big tournament. So
I mean, the mountains in the background will sell it for a lot, I think.
Yeah. No, we were joking about like altitudes and all that. You know, is that gonna play a part? You know, people are gonna be fucking dying.
Oh, yeah, I will be. I think it's gonna hit us girls from the Midwest a bit. So we'll.
Is the Midwest pretty low terrain or?
Yeah, we basically if you step off a curb, that's about as much topography as you're gonna see here in the Midwest. So.
Oh yeah.
So just pray for us or something.
Connor, I suppose I've made this almost like a tradition, and if I don't put this in, I feel like I've failed. But let's get a nationals in Mexico or a tournament or Nashville. We'll throw it in there. We're still going to continue the petition for nationals at Nashville or New Orleans, maybe a tournament in Cancun. Just have to keep that train going, Connor.
More winter tournaments anyway, that's for sure. Definitely always looking to get away from the those shitty northeast winters.
Yeah, let me know where I can find my name in the petition because I'm first one on.
If the powers that be are listening to this, Mexico City, put it together, lads. Yeah. We have every faith in you.
It's out there in the universe now, so let's
yeah.
Well, Cristin, before we start wrapping up, thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. Best of luck in the upcoming weeks now with the Derry girls, no pun intended. But yeah, I hope you guys bring back some silverware, and hope you guys make it to the All Ireland final as well, because that is an experience by itself as well. And I know my family will be rooting for hopefully Armagh to be there. I'm not sure who you're rooting for, but I hope Armagh do not get there. But we wish you all the best and good luck in the tournament.
No, thanks to Cristin for coming on, and thanks to our sponsors, Masita. Thanks to everyone who's listening out there. If you like this episode, do us a favor and give us a like, subscribe, follow, whatever you can do. We appreciate it. And thanks, and we'll see you next time.